Travis Wayne Goodsell. So we get to do another video thanks to the church news, as the church news is covering pornography again. They keep pushing this, and I have noticed over the years that there is a pattern of the videos I cover with what the church news covers. I noticed that even Nelson was using it to communicate with me during my lawsuits against him. And so it doesn't surprise me that I'm still being stalked by Mormons who work for the church and who get back with the church news. And what was her name again? Because they already did the article on this, and they even quote the article that they say, the BYU study. But again, I'm going to go over this for you. Therapist excommunicated LDS Church. Natasha Helfer, licensed mental health and sex therapist who lives in Salt Lake City. I thought she was in another... Oh, okay. She's here in Utah. Last week, April 28th, 2021, she had her membership withdrawn from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints after being charged with apostasy. Apostasy for doing her job, which really wasn't her job. She's not supposed to be using real science in her job. And that's the whole thing, is that she, by not doing her job, exposed the church when they excommunicated her for using science. This is unbelievable. But yeah, I did a video talking about the article by the church. It's down a little lower, looks like. And so yeah, they're now getting this Mary Richards to do the article about Jill Manning. It's interesting. They have a link for her. And it's possible that I know her or dated her when I was in the older singles ward. There were a lot of therapists in the older singles ward, and it's not a wonder that they're single. Maybe she would have hung around with the elite crowd of career women if she was. Michelle Bloomquist. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Bloomquist. I've got history. But nonetheless, Jill Manning lives in Louisville, Colorado. And again, I have to go over this. The church is obsessed. Even though it's Mary Richards this time, she was ordered by the church to do another article on it. To keep pushing. Keep pushing. They're addicted to porn. Idolatry. It's a real simple definition. Did I say pornography or idolatry? Idolatry. Just so we're clear, idolatry. Real simple. I'm the career field for this. I know the definition. It's a hard science. Any object, even our bodies, when we believe that they can be possessed with moral, spiritual, ethical powers, even superhuman powers, bleeding from the eyes or whatever. But we're dealing with belief systems here, morality. The other thing just gets weird and stupid. but great entertainment for Hollywood movies. Whether for good or bad, evil, good, and that they can then possess human beings, good or bad. That's it. It's that simple. So if you believe that a woman's body is evil, sorry, idolatry. You're an idol worshiper. You fear the woman's body. And what do? You have superstitions. Oh, we need to protect our children from a woman's body. Cover her up. Men are instantly triggered by a woman's body. Cover her up. That's superstition. The actions you take based upon your idolatrous beliefs is superstition. It is a false religious belief because it's not based in reality. Not complicated. Very simple. So what do psychologists do when they say that pornography is addictive? They are saying it is morally bad and harmful. And relationships are hurting because of pornography use. Really? So do you know how to apply the definition of idol worship to what that just said right there by Mary Richards of the Church News? Why isn't it the Church of Jesus Christ News? Nelson, what's going on here? I think you need to deal with this. Speaking of idols, she's saying pornography is possessed with evil powers, and that humans who associate with pornography are likewise getting possessed with evil morality. Relationships are hurting because of pornography use. They're saying pornography use is a causal factor for relationships hurting. This is false in so many ways. And so they just say, regardless of religiosity, gender, or type, and frequency. So just the once, you're doomed. And they don't think, Mary, are you not married? Do you literally have sex with your husband in the dark, under the covers, and only until and then that's it? Is your relationship hurting that much because of your fear of pornography? Mary Richards is an idol worshiper because she is presenting this by Jill Manning. She's been indoctrinated by Jill Manning and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which supports this over Natasha Helfer, in presenting a case for idol worship for Mormons. This is the Church News, 28 March 2023, Salt Lake City, featured stories, no need for confusion on pornography's harms. Idol worship, by definition. There's no need for confusion. Beam and Moat. This is a clear case of Beam and Moat. And so, again, let me go over psychologists. Why they are evil. They don't do any hard science measurements. Talking to people? No. My brother, Todd, who's tried to sue me, I'm still waiting to be served. Hopefully his lawyer did the right thing. She knows what I mean by that. The responsible thing, I can't remember the exact wording, but something like that. he went into what is a hard science at the University of Michigan, but got his master's at BYU in sociology. BYU, church school. They believe in psychology, tampering with science, and screwing it up and causing idolatry beliefs. And so he went to the University of Michigan. They said, no, you didn't do anything of the scientific field. We can't accept your thesis. We can't accept you for a PhD. He pulled the religion card, extorted them, enforcing one's belief with threats. Good job, Todd. Almo chapter 1. And then you went and did it to me. I told you, my brother will be a Nazi soldier for the church. It's the Gestapo, I think it is, that are the informants. The military informants, whatever. My brother will be on the front lines accusing everybody because he's already started with me. Well, the University of Michigan, but then me, technically, with the church. This is how he learns to solve problems. And it may be because the church threatened his job. And so he's kind of extorted to commit crimes and threaten other people because the church is threatening him. But regardless, my brother's an ass. And so, likewise, psychology. How does it work? They have no scientific measurements, so they have to create them. And that's not a scientific measurement. What they do is they name call, just like a bully. And those name calling are placed into category boxes. Name calling for each category. It's like schizophrenic, bipolar, psychopath, whatever terms they have. Autism even. Autism is weird because there are some that clearly have some kind of a problem, but whether it's medical or psychological, that's another issue. It seems more medical. If there's a medical problem like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, you don't go to a therapist. You go to a medical doctor. That needs to be understood right up front. Our government has given psychologists too much power, and they're wielding it. So first, the name calling. So now they need clients. In order to get paid, to do their job, they need clients. So they go on TV doing commercials. They go on the news. Oh, we did a study. And, a school shooting, like Nashville. Oh, if you are a victim of a crime, call this help number. If you're thinking of harming yourself or others, call this helpline. They need clients. And then the Nashville one, that's a clear-cut case of religious bullying of a transgender, and the transgender couldn't figure out any other way to get their problem resolved and resorted to violence and murdered 3 kids and 3 adults. Very sad. But it had nothing to do with pornography. It had nothing to do with idol worship. And so they have to trick people into self-fulfilling their bullying categories, which are self-fulfilling prophecies. They need clients to believe that their creation of a category problem is real. And it's not. There are other causes for what they're going in for, or forced to go in for sometimes. Chad Daybell and Lori Vello, for example, went into psychiatric evaluation. That was just a delay tactic by the defense. They need the death penalty. This is just causing delays for the inevitable that must be done to meet the demands of justice. And so the perfect example of how it's a fraud is Brian David Mitchell. He and Wanda Barzee kidnapped Elizabeth Smart. They got caught. They went to the psychiatric observation area, or the psycho hospital in Provo, for evaluation. Unfit for trial. So they are unable to meet the demands of justice. The rights of Elizabeth Smart taken away as they go into the hospital. And that was not good enough for Orrin Hatch, a friend of the Smarts, and made sure that they got a different trial in the federal courts. And they got reevaluated, and he's cured. You're not supposed to be cured. Mental illnesses are for life, because they need clients. So if they cure people, what's the point of... Which is a dangerous thing for the medical profession. Medical profession has the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. Psychologists do not. If doctors were to have no Hippocratic Oath, they would manipulate us to keep us sick so that they can have clients. Instead, they get insurance companies involved, and they require that you go see the doctor on a regular basis so that the doctor gets paid, and that causes other problems. But with a psychologist, no. They can get kickbacks, bonuses from pharmaceutical companies to experiment on humans with new drugs that are coming out and unsure of what the results and consequences will be, including death. They have no shame. And so I saw in the news a week or two ago, there was a person in psychiatric custody was murdered. In custody. Murdered by the psychiatrist. They're the ones who dish out the drugs. They're the drug pushers for the pharmaceutical company. And so once the person believes that they are mentally ill, they're addicted to porn. That's one of the categories. Porn addiction. Are you a porn addict? Did you see a woman naked? Oh no, you're addicted to porn. Just a little bit. That's all it takes. One look. And you don't stop and think, hey, wait a minute, why am I body shaming this woman? She's in the image of Heavenly Mother, as Mormon doctrine is. How is that addictive? And then the church tries to tell us boys that, you can never get rid of that image. Sing a hymn, say a prayer, read your scriptures, fight it. And I've gone over the ancient Egyptians. It's 10 o'clock. Oh my. Maybe I'll upload this tomorrow. We'll see. Oh man, I forgot the... The ancient Egyptian language has pornography in it. Go to facsimile number 2. Count the number of penises. The number of peni. It's a part of the language. Little children are being taught about our human bodies in the language. So how does it hurt children again? It's part of communication when done right, not with the fear of idol worship. And so if a person believes, they go in, they pay Jill Manning her lifestyle, and she bullies them. You have a problem. You admitted it to me. Self-fulfilling prophecy by the client. for believing in the psycho. That's why they're called psycho. Do you understand this? I grew up in the days where quacks, psychos were, a joke, a laughing stock. You go there, you can't be a man. You can't do this and that. And they flipped society. Lethal Weapon, for example, mocked the psychologist. It was awesome. But the TV show on Fox, which was short-lived because of the incident, they flipped it. He now goes to see the psychologist. I mean, yeah, she's hot, but you don't want to get involved with a psychologist. They've got mental problems. That's why they went into the field. That's why there's so many single psychologists, therapists, and caseworkers in the older singles ward. Because the church has screwed them up. Church, not me. Church. Blame the church, not me. Beautiful women, but screwed up because of the church. And so there is nothing about this. It has nothing to do with the religious teachings. But of course they're saying most of them are not religious. Because they want to keep the church out of it. Sorry, you're saying that pornography as an idol is harmful. You just entered into the realm of religion called idol worship. And so anybody who goes in thinking that porn is harmful, you've turned them into an idol worshiper. The therapist, Jill Manning, turned her clients into idol worshipers. They believed that pornography had power over them, and they're using it as an excuse to get away from the real problem. Just like the gun issue. The shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, is it? Everybody is now wanting gun control. At least the liberal media is pushing for it again. The guns aren't to blame. The guns aren't the issue. The guns aren't the problem. I already told you what the problem is. You've got a Christian school. You had a transgender student at the school. She was bullied for being transgender, violating God's law, and because of her bullying, normally people commit suicide in those cases. But instead of committing suicide, she stood her ground and fought back. And unfortunately, kids were murdered. And whether they were the kids who bullied her, whether the adults were the ones who bullied her, I don't know. And I don't think the news will ever tell us. They're going to keep that part of it a sacred secret. It's all going to be about gun control. Instead, blaming the idol. And so this is a problem. Because the person will always, like an alcoholic. I'm a recovering pornographer. I've been without seeing an image for 3 months. And just like the Alcoholics program, they force you to believe in a higher power. They force you to believe in idol worship. Because it's run by psychologists. Likewise, the church is using psychology to fire any of their employees who use science, and not using idol worship. It's that simple, that easy. And so they can complain all they want and make all the excuses they want, but they have no hard science evidence. They have people coming in telling them exactly what they told them they want them to say. It's like an opinion poll. It's worthless. They already were leading questions, giving only questions that have a limited number of answers that they want to have. You can't give an answer that doesn't fit within the answers they provide. And it's the person's opinion. You have to trust that they're telling you the truth. Because if there's a limited number of answers, they're already lying, but they can switch answers. They can trick you if you happen to get them a second time for an interview or a survey question, poll taking or whatever. I did that as a kid. We had the color test. What kind of behavioral problem do we have with the color that we match? And I was able to realize as a kid, well, if I just put this answer instead of that answer, I'm a different color. This is stupid. But yeah, I saw my other peers, crowding around the teacher. Oh, so what does this mean? I believe you, teacher. No. Oh, look, we got another person who's involved here. Brian Willoughby, a BYU School of Family Life professor. You've wasted your life on your career. Good thing you're working for the church. Who worked on the most recent study. Yeah, fraudulent study. The guy is a fraud. He's a fake idol worshiper. Doing it for the church. Looked at data from over 3,500 people in committed relationships around the United States. Small sampling fallacy. No legitimate scientist would ever use just 3,500 samples, especially when you're dealing with something that involves human beings' bodies. This is why getting a vaccine for a virus can be complicated, and why we were being told through the news about the certain level of efficiency of the viruses or vaccines that were coming out. This is why, is because there are so many different factors with human beings. Their individual health, their environment, their body types, their DNA, blood types. So many factors. Americans alone are complex to figure out one vaccine for everybody. It's impossible to do. We get the flu shot every year because they have an idea of what's coming, but still the effectiveness varies year to year because of human beings have different body types. And here they're making it simple. Oh, pornography, bad, evil. You're a doctor, gynecologist. See women naked. Oh no, they're now addicted to porn. Your family. You see your sibling naked. Your mom sees you naked. Oh no, addicted to porn. Do you not get this? How is a human being's body different from the image of a human being in whatever medium it is? They're saying video imagery, which is the closest we've gotten to an actual human being other than a doll, an AI robot, which I think there's a plus for that. These people are not thinking. They're playing you for dumb because they need a job. And their job is dangerous because legislatures make laws and it causes harm. That's the harm. People who are believing this are the ones who cause the harm in the relationship. The wife who sees her husband looking at a picture, our marriage is over, you're cheating on me. No, he's not. It's an idol. What's your problem? Leave him alone. Start loving him. You gave up loving him. You're not thinking. You're being brainwashed and you're being weaponized. You are self-fulfilling what they want you to do, how they want you to think, how they want you to act. They've taken away your agency. Lucifer's plan of happiness. And how do I know it's Lucifer's plan of happiness? Because I should have tied it in with the end, but, start and then end with the same thing. We go to Scripture. And you already know the Scripture. You're already saying it in your head. The devil delights... Oh, only 2. 2 Nephi chapter 9, verse 37. Yeah, that's the only place. It's in the Book of Mormon. Oh, isn't that interesting? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that uses the Book of Mormon, where the Book of Mormon is the only source that tells you that, yea, woe unto those that worship idols, for the devil of all devils delighteth in them. Huh. One more thing to add, and this will be at the end, not at the beginning, is abstinence only for sex ed. It is the policy and belief that talking about it also is a pornography problem. And thus they don't want to teach sex ed. They just say, don't do it, stay away, no touchy, don't see, don't do anything, don't feel. It's evil, idolatry. And so that's the belief that the church has made the government and Mormons believe in. That if we just, out of sight, it's out of mind. And men won't have their problems, neither will women, and everything will be fine. All is well in Zion. This is an anti-science position, in denial of our human bodies, our biological nature. You don't run and hide or just don't speak of it. Like the Egyptians, they told their children the truth from the beginning. They didn't mask it with storks brought us a baby. They told the kids the truth from infancy while teaching them the language. You don't mask it and say it's a problem and we don't want to discuss it, we don't want to deal with it, we want to hide it, we want to put it away. Because like the school shooting, you take away guns, they're still going to find a way to get violent if that's what they have resorted to. And so the same thing with biological natures. You take all sources of porn away from a guy, he's still going to want sex. And it's worse when you deprive a guy because of the biological nature. That's a real harm. And women need to be told about a man's nature, and men need to be told about women's natures, so that we can alleviate the potential for harm. We need to communicate, not throw in idol worship, not put pseudoscience to defend the church's position. The church is the danger. And they are the ones that have the porn addiction. Beam and Moat.